Crash Bandicoot Retrospective. Press start to begin.
Well, we've finally done it. We have finished and reviewed every single Crash game in the Crash Bandicoot series. Of course, I missed a couple of games, but I literally have no way to play any of the mobile games. Crash Nitro Kart 2 is only for old Nokia phones, which I don't own or have any way of recording, and Crash Bandicoot on the Run is literally deleted from the App Store. Even then though, just kind of assume from now on that for any retrospective I do, I'm probably going to skip any games that aren't completely accessible, like special arcade games or mobile games. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. We got 23 games to get through, so let's get on with the list. Number 23. Crash Boom Bang. Well, this is shocking to absolutely no one. The worst Crash Bandicoot game in the entire franchise is Crash Boom Bang. There is absolutely no reason why I should have beaten this game. I was absolutely confused from start to finish with this game, and yet I still got through it and saw the ending. Not only that, but it's only a 3-hour long game. DS games were $40 new back in 2006. I would be so pissed if I paid $40 for this just to beat it 3 hours later. There is absolutely no replay value, it's physically taxing with the amount of microphone minigames you have to play, and the story just doesn't feel like a Crash story. Hell, Crash Boom Bang just doesn't feel like a Crash game at all. Number 22. Crash Purple, Ripto's Rampage. This game could have been so great. The idea of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon finally crossing over in a mainline Crash game after over a decade of being sibling series should have been a match made in heaven. Instead of giving us an amazing platformer, they gave us a shitty minigame collection. The story is stupid, the gameplay is some of the worst in the franchise, and my god, the cutscenes show us these characters at their ugliest. This game just should not exist. If you ever need any proof of that, just look at how they handled Nina. Number 21. Crash Bash. Entering the D ranks, Crash Bash is one of the most frustrating games I've ever played in my entire life. It's so weird because I grew up with this game and I remember loving it as a kid. I had nothing but fond memories for this game, even if it was just air hockey for most of the time. When I finally revisited it and tried to finally beat it, the true horrors this game had to offer finally showed themselves. The amount of cheating this game does in the name of difficulty is actually insane. It turns this game from a semi-decent party game with an okay story to a game where you just have to wait for the game to let you win. Not only that, but the completion in this game is worse than Crash 4. Yeah, I actually fucking said that. Number 20. Crash Mind Over Mutant for DS. If I had one word to describe this game, it would be disappointment. Crash Mind Over Mutant on consoles was an improvement over the original Crash of the Titans, so it was disappointing to see that this version of the game did not follow suit. This was the only game in the Crash retrospective where the biggest difficulty with beating this game was staying awake. Number 19. Crash of the Titans. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Getting into the C grades, Crash of the Titans was what felt like the beginning of the end for the Crash Bandicoot franchise. It changed everything that people have grown to love about the Crash Bandicoot franchise over its decade-long run. The gameplay changed. The voices changed. The writing style changed. Me after playing it changed. The only thing that this game seems to have in common with its predecessors is just its name. If you change everything about a Crash game but still call it Crash, is it still Crash? Ship a Theseus-ass game. Number 18. Crash Tag Team Racing. Crash Tag Team Racing is the first game in this list that I can truly say was just okay. The problem this game runs into is that it really loses its own plot. It doesn't know if it wants to be a racing game, a platformer, a collect-a-thon, or a shoot-'em-up. This game tries to do all of those things and it just becomes way too much to do. Not only that, but the racing really isn't that good either, since the best strategy you can employ is merging with another kart right at the start of the race and just spend the rest of the time blasting. This game is probably fun in multiplayer, but as a single player experience, it's very flawed fundamentally. Also, the fact that there is no completion bonus for collecting everything is bogus. Number 17. Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. The beginning of mediocre Crash. It's been a long time. And I missed you. Now, right off the bat, there isn't anything inherently wrong with Wrath of Cortex on the surface. The problem with this game is how much of a nothing burger it feels like it is. For this to be the game that comes after Crash's Naughty Dog era, Wrath of Cortex was definitely the omen that showed the future of the Crash series. After Crash Bandicoot did nothing but grow and evolve over its original trilogy, and for Wrath of Cortex to just imitate Crash 3 really accentuates the nothing burgerness of this game. Wrath of Cortex is not a bad game by any means. It's just a serviceable enough game. Number 16. Crash of the Titans for the Game Boy Advance. Entering into the B grades, Crash of the Titans for the Game Boy Advance takes this spot. Confused, are we? How is the shitty Game Boy Advance version of one of the worst console Crash Bandicoot games above said console versions and even Wrath of Cortex? It was a very close race between this and Wrath of Cortex, but the reason why I think this wins out is because of the story. Wrath of Cortex's story sets up so many things that never pay off. Stuff like the Elementals, Crunch, the return of all of the villains from previous games. It was all half-assed. This version of Crash of the Titans has a story that takes what the console version did and made it make more sense. It even showed character relationship development between Cortex and Nina. That's rare for a franchise like Crash. I'm begging you not to roast me in the comments for this one. I can't stress enough how close this game and Wrath of Cortex are to me. Number 15. Crash Bandicoot 2 Entranced. Scared you for a second, didn't I? This is the absolute example of what I'd say is the most mid-Crash Bandicoot game. After playing and enjoying Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure, this is quite the huge downgrade. The level design is infuriating, the power-ups are only useful if you are trying to go for those platinum relics. Platinum relics are necessary, and that final boss is the most random, horribly telegraphed final boss in the entire Crash series. Is the game bad? Absolutely not. It's completely middle of the road, and I'm not really likely to go back to it. Unless you want me to stream it. Number 14. Crash Nitro Kart for the Game Boy Advance. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I kind of vibed with this game, considering it's a racing game on the Game Boy Advance. Sure, it doesn't hold a candle to the console version, and sure, it's not the best racing game in the world, but for what it is, it's actually pretty fun. Crash Nitro Kart on the Game Boy Advance is the perfect game to play when mom is taking a little bit too long talking to the banker and you're desperately trying to satiate your ADHD, and this is the game you brought with you because you just had it bought for you and you're at least a little obligated to try and play the game and try to beat it, even if you never really get that far. Anyone relate? Number 13. Crash Mind Over Mutant. We're already up in the B+ range for this series, and the one that takes this spot is Crash Mind Over Mutant. This game is such an improvement over its predecessor, Crash of the Titans. Not only is the writing way funnier, but the gameplay thread of exploring the open world and completing missions is way better than the level-by-level structure of the original. The only thing stopping this game from reaching truly great status is the amount of backtracking that this game makes you do. The fact that you don't unlock fast traveling until you're essentially done with the game, and you can't even fast travel to every area in the game, is downright cruel and does nothing more than pad out the experience. This is the first game on the list that I could say I'd recommend though.
Number 12.
Crash of the Titans on DS. If you were to ask me what the biggest shock to me was during this entire Crash retrospective, it would have been just how much I ended up enjoying Crash of the Titans on DS. This is what the Crash of the Titans style of gameplay should have been from the beginning. Crash of the Titans on the DS perfectly blends what the console version of Crash of the Titans introduced and the gameplay of classic Crash. It ends up blending together way nicer than you would expect, especially after playing a ton of games that just kinda throw away the original Crash formula. This was surprisingly a breath of fresh air. I'd recommend this game to anybody, at least as long as you can sit through some shitty touchscreen minigames.
Number 11.
Crash Nitro Kart. Now this was a fun time. Even through all of the bullshit difficulty this game will throw at you, becoming good at this game was one of the most satisfying things I ever learned how to do in this retrospective. This game was just plain fun and a really great follow-up to the original Crash Team Racing. But as you probably already surmised, Crash Team Racing is still better. How much better?
You'll just have to finish the video, stupid.
If you're looking for a fun kart racer to play on the PlayStation 2 specifically, this is the one to throw in, not Tag Team Racing.
Number 10.
We're finally into the top 10 Crash games now, and taking the number 10 spot, we have Crash Team Rumble. This is the only non-kart racing party game that Crash Bandicoot has that I would recommend everyone to play. They finally found a formula in which playing a competitive platformer actually works, and it can become highly addictive after a while. I know I got addicted while I was recording the gameplay for it. I didn't want to stop playing. Crash Team Rumble definitely deserved better with how fun the gameplay loop is and how smart the design of the multiplayer was. If you haven't played this one, I say you should give it a go.
Number 9.
Crash Bandicoot. Bet you didn't expect a classic trilogy Crash game to be this low on the list. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot definitely suffers from first game syndrome. Don't get me wrong, the game is still very good, still better than most of the stuff Crash came out with in the PS2 era. This game does suffer from stiff controls, cycles that can make it impossible to get past an obstacle unscathed, and a completion that is a pain in the ass. Getting to the end of a stage, breaking all of the boxes, and not dying in a game as hard as this, I'm glad that the Insane Trilogy made completion a lot more accessible. When it comes to the classic trilogy of Crash Bandicoot games, this is the one I revisit the least.
Number 8.
Crash Twinsanity. Another example of a game that is my favorite not making it to the top of the list. Just like how Kirby Superstar Ultra is my favorite Kirby game but didn't make it to the top of that list, Crash Twinsanity is my favorite Crash Bandicoot game, even though it is number 8. The writing is so funny and so memorable that I could probably recite most cutscenes in this game right off the top of my head. In fact, I bet I could do this whole cutscene without even studying the words. Watch.
Surprised to see me, Crash? Just like the fleas on your fur, I keep coming back. 3 years I spent trapped in the cold Arctic waste, and I missed you. So I put together a little get-together, kind of a birthday party, except the exact opposite.
The gameplay is also really fun as well. What this game suffers from is a lack of polish. Everybody knows about Crash Twinsanity's very troubled development. This troubled development really shows through the erratic story, where story beats just kinda happen, disappear, things are unexplained. Even the gameplay could use a little bit more polish. The lack of checkpoints really hurts this game and makes getting a game over really painful, especially in engine ship.
Number 7.
Crash Bandicoot Warped! Crash Bandicoot Warped did a lot of things that I really like in the Crash Bandicoot series, but it also introduced some of the worst things as well. The platformer levels in this game are really good, like some of the best in the franchise. The music is all super catchy, the characters are super well written, the presentation is some of the best the PS1 has to offer. There is a reason why so many Crash Bandicoot games after this tried to imitate what this game did. Games like Wrath of Cortex, Huge Adventure, and Entranced would reuse music and environments from this game just because it is that iconic. It is such a shame that two of the worst things the Crash Bandicoot games do originated from this game and was constantly imitated: gimmick levels and time trial relics. This is why Crash Bandicoot Warped is not in the top 5. It introduced some of the worst gameplay decisions in the franchise, even though I still think the main game is pretty solid.
Number 6.
Crash 4, It's About Time. This is going to be wild to say, but out of all of the games on this list, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time is the game on this list that has the best level design of any Crash game. The amount of things this game thinks to do with the abilities Crash has, both in his base moveset, with the quantum masks, and the combination of both never cease to amaze me. The amount of clever ways the game implements its mechanics is something to behold. Hell, even adding the multiple playable characters was a very fun and unique way to twist up on the gameplay. This is a way better solution than having stupid vehicle sections. The only reason Crash 4 isn't higher on the list is because its completion requirement is so super ridiculous and doesn't respect your time. There is a lot of padding in this game's completion.
Number 5.
Crash Bandicoot: The Huge Adventure. Bet you didn't expect a handheld game to be so high on the list. Not only is it so high on the list, it's above 2 of the games in the original trilogy. Well, it deserves to be here. Crash Bandicoot: The Huge Adventure is truly that good. It is the perfect example of taking a 3D platformer as good as the original trilogy of Crash Bandicoot and perfectly translating it into a 2D platformer. Though this game borrows a lot from Crash Bandicoot Warped, which was my main complaint about Wrath of Cortex, I feel like the expectation is different when it comes to a handheld game versus a console game. When I play Crash: The Huge Adventure, I'm expecting a handheld version of the console Crash Bandicoot games. When I play Wrath of Cortex, I'm expecting a sequel to Crash Bandicoot Warped. This game is just plain good Crash Bandicoot goodness. Nothing more deep than that. Also, Megamix is fucking awesome.
Number 4.
Crash Team Racing. Crash Team Racing is absolutely one of the best kart racers I've ever played in my entire life. I genuinely think that this game is better than any Mario Kart. The story mode is very fun and engaging. The controls and handling of the cars are perfect. The music is fantastic. It is incredibly fun to play in a multiplayer setting, and there is absolutely no point in this game where the game feels unfair. It's crazy I'm saying that when Oxide actually cheats. It's crazy that Emperor Velo being way too fast for you to ever catch up with seems less fair than Oxide literally starting the race 1 second early. If you love kart racers and you haven't played Crash Team Racing, do yourself a favor and get on that. It is wild how much Naughty Dog nailed the kart racing genre on their first try. Crash Team Racing is unmatched in the genre. At least I would say that if it weren't for...
Number 3.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I mean, how could this spot not go to Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled? It's a game that takes everything great about Crash Team Racing and everything great about Crash Nitro Kart and mashes it together into one huge package. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled did an excellent job of taking the masterpiece of Crash Team Racing and just giving us that and a whole lot more. They essentially doubled the size of the game by introducing every track from Crash Nitro Kart. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled really shows us just how far Crash Bandicoot has come from 1996 to now. Just like how Crash Team Racing ended with a look back at Naughty Dog's time working on Crash Bandicoot as a series, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled is the perfect look back to Crash Bandicoot's past before they go on towards the future with Crash 4. What an absolute masterpiece.
Number 2.
Crash Bandicoot: The N. Sane Trilogy. It really is crazy just how good the N. Sane Trilogy is. For one thing, every single Crash Bandicoot fan owes the N. Sane Trilogy a lot when it comes to the current public opinion of Crash Bandicoot. We all have the N. Sane Trilogy to thank for reviving the Crash Bandicoot series in the modern day. Without the N. Sane Trilogy, we wouldn't have the Reignited Trilogy, we wouldn't have Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and most importantly, we wouldn't have Crash Bandicoot 4. This game wouldn't be number 2 on the list just by good reputation alone. I would say, with 100% certainty, that the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy is the definitive way to play the Naughty Dog trilogy. Every single level in this game is beautifully recreated, and it also adds a bunch of quality of life changes to the game that make the game as fun as possible. The main example of this is making it so you are allowed to die while trying to obtain the gems in the first game. The N. Sane Trilogy has gotten a lot of flack for its weird controls and odd hitboxes, but I never really experienced any problems on that front during my playthrough. The N. Sane Trilogy has 100% improved on both Crash Bandicoot 1 and Crash Bandicoot Warped, and that's why it's so high on the list. Wait, there was something missing in that list of games I said just then.
Number 1.
Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Where Crash the N. Sane Trilogy made Crash 1 and Crash Bandicoot
Warped
better, I cannot say the same about Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. For this game, they matched it. Some of you may argue that this means that the N. Sane Trilogy should have won because it's 3 great games in one instead of just one, but the reason I put Crash 2 on top is the same reason why on the Kirby list, Kirby Superstar was above Kirby Superstar Ultra. The N. Sane Trilogy version of Crash 2 wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the genius that Crash 2 introduced. If you don't improve upon it, you must thank the original. I do have to point out as well that I may have a sort of bias since Crash 2 has huge sentimental value to me. Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back was the first video game I've ever played. We have this game to thank for my love of video games. It all started here. Now, when I make these worst to best lists, I try to make it so that my personal biases are left out of it, and I think for the most part I succeed. In this case though, I couldn't with good conscience not say that Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back is not the best Crash game of the bunch. This game is exactly what you should expect out of a sequel. The gameplay improves upon its predecessor, the music has evolved, the story has evolved, everything great about Crash 1 was made better, and everything bad about Crash 1 was either improved upon or removed entirely. Crash Bandicoot 2 is the perfect sequel and the best Crash Bandicoot game. Well, that's it. We have finally made it through the Crash Bandicoot retrospective, and what a wild ride it was. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos like this one, and hit that bell to know what and when we upload. We got a lot of videos in the works at the moment that we hope you guys will watch and enjoy. God knows we enjoyed making them. We got merch in the description below where you can buy our shirts, mugs, and stickers. I'd like to thank Andrew's Retro Games for being the most well-esteemed guest of them all. Channel members get early access to all videos, so if you want to see our videos before anyone else as well as support the channel, that is a great way to do it. So now some of you may be wondering, what is our next retrospective now that the Crash retrospective is over? It's going to be quite the ride, but I'm sure you guys are going to love it. Especially since you guys love the Kirby retrospective so much, the next retrospective we will be doing is... See you then. With that, I'm Bottles, and I bid you, my well-esteemed guests, adieu.